So, what are the new Macs that will be coming in 2022? We've just had the brand new peak performance event where we just saw the brand new Mac Studio with that M1 Ultra and the M1 Max put inside it. So we definitely know that we're not going to be getting kind of a higher spec desktop model in 2022 because this has now been done and being completed. Also the fact that if you've seen in recent news, and something what I also talked about very recently in the video that I made, the 27-inch iMac is now dead. So there is definitely not going to be another 27-inch iMac or iMac Pro coming out in 2022 or the foreseeable future. However, what MacBooks and Macs are coming in 2022? Well, I can tell you right away what Macs will definitely not be coming in 2022 are any kind of Macs that have come out in the last 6 to 9 months. And mainly these ones are the MacBook Pros that we got in November last year. So I'm talking about that 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro with that M1 Pro and M1 Max chipset inside it. It is very, very unlikely in 2022 we're going to see replacements or we're going to see upgrades on both of these models. We're going to have to wait until at least 2023 where we're going to see any upgrades actually happen to these models. But what Macs will be upgraded in 2022? Well, we've already had a hint of one Mac that's definitely going to be getting an upgrade later on this year, and that is the Mac Pro. Even Apple have said this:
making our transition nearly complete with just one more product to go, Mac Pro. But that is for another day.
So that is a massive hint towards me and towards you that they are working on that, and most likely we're going to be seeing the new Mac Pro at WWDC this summer. Now the reason why we'll probably see it announced at WWDC is in previous years, like in 2013 and 2019, we saw the new Mac Pros introduced. However, they didn't actually come out till later on into the year. What these Mac Pros are going to get inside them, it's not quite sure at this stage. We do remember that Apple also did say this at their peak performance.
We're adding one last chip to the M1 family, introducing M1 Ultra.
So that means there's not going to be any more M1 variant chips out there. So what's going to be put inside the Mac Pro? Well, there's lots of people saying that we might actually get dual M1 Ultras put inside the Mac Pro, and this could be possible, but it would make sense that Apple would call this a different name altogether. At the end of the day, the M1 Ultra is a combination of two M1 Maxes put together, and they've called that M1 Ultra. So really, yeah, it makes sense if they are going to put dual M1 Ultras inside the Mac Pro, you'd call it something different. And they just said at that event that they're not going to be introducing any more M1 variants. So it could be possible that the Mac Pro could be the first model to get an M2 variant inside it, or it could have a completely different code name altogether. And that is personally what I believe we're going to see in the Mac Pro. Because it's so specialist, the Mac Pro, and so unique, I think we're going to get something really, really incredible put inside it. At the end of the day, in the old days of Intel, we used to be getting things like i3s, i5s, i7s, i9s, all put inside the likes of the normal MacBook Pros, and also say the desktops with the iMacs and Mac Minis and so on. But when it came to the Mac Pros, we actually got the Xeon chips put inside them instead, not the standard i5, i7 and so on and so forth. So it may be that Apple are going to be doing something very similar with their own chipset naming for the Mac Pro. Now, like I did say, it's probably going to be announced at WWDC, but most likely, again, like with the previous Mac Pros, we probably won't be able to get our hands on it until later on into the year. So probably around fall time, most likely November or even into December time. So what other Macs are most likely going to be upgraded in 2022, and when will they be coming? Well, with WWDC out of the way, most likely we'll get an event in September time for iPhones and maybe iPads, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're focusing on Macs. But at that Mac event, what's most likely going to happen in October or November time, maybe that Mac Pro I just talked about might come out, but something what's definitely probably going to be upgraded is all the original M1 Macs that first got an Apple Silicon chipset inside it. So I'm talking about, first of all, the MacBook Pro. So the MacBook Pro, a lot of us were hoping that we might have seen it at the March event peak performance, but it never came to be. It is likely we will see it in full time, and it's probably going to be a 13-inch model, and that's what we've been told, but the main difference is it'll be getting the M2 chipset inside it. And I'll talk about the M2 chipset in a mo. Another product that we're most likely going to be getting is a brand new Mac Mini. Now, there has been some controversial bits and pieces going out there that we may be getting a Mac Mini with a whole new, brand new design inside it, as you can see in these renders here. Now, it's possible that this Mac Mini will have an M2 chipset inside it, just like the M1 was inside the last Mac Mini, but we might also get the M2 Pro also put inside the Mac Mini. What it actually kind of makes sense, being that the Mac Studio has the M1 Max and has the M1 Ultra inside it. And personally, from my point of view, I would love to see an M2 Pro put inside a Mac Mini. Don't forget right now, Apple still sell that higher tier Intel Mac Mini, so it makes sense for this to be replaced with an M2 processor inside it, and I'd really love to see that. The final product, what we're most likely going to see and upgraded in the fall of this year at that event, October-November time, will be a brand new MacBook Air with a whole new design with lots of colours, also the ability to have, say, a MagSafe charger inside it, and also have that standard M2 chipset inside it as well. So you're probably going to ask, what are the specs of that M2 and that M2 chipset? Well, I'm going to explain that to you in a moment. But just before that, I want to talk about this channel's giveaway that we're doing right now. And it is for this. It is for an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I'm doing an international giveaway of this silver white 256GB model to one lucky subscriber out there. And all I want to know from you guys is to write down in the comments below of what Apple gear, what technology gear you're planning to buy in 2022. Put it down in the comments below, and when we get over 350,000 subscribers, and really it's not that far away, I'm going to be announcing who the winner is of this iPhone 13 Pro Max via a video. So if you are new here, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell, because you don't want to miss out on that video. And with saying that, sadly I am going to say there are lots of spammers and scammers out there telling you to WhatsApp them or to Telegram them, telling you that you are a winner of a giveaway. This is not me at all. These are scammers, these are spammers. Report them or ignore them. Like I said, when we get over 350,000 subscribers, I'll be making a video announcing who the winner is of this iPhone 13 Pro Max. With that out of the way, let's talk about the M2 chipset first of all. So we've been told for the M2 that we're probably going to be getting the same amount of CPU cores inside it. So this is going to be 8 cores made up of 4 high performance cores and 4 efficiency cores. But then when it gets to the GPU side of things, things are going to be quite different here. We're actually being told that we're probably going to be getting 9 or 10 cores inside it. So probably a 10 core and a binned 9 core. Similar to like what we got with the likes of, say, the MacBook Air and also the iMac with the M1 chipset inside it. There was a binned version of a 7-core GPU option, what you can see here on the Apple Store. But focusing on the 10-core version, this does definitely mean straight away we're going to see a 25% increase in the amount of performance in graphics just on its own by just adding on these 2 extra cores. Also at the same time, what makes this even more incredible, Apple would have been working on their M2 chipset for CPU and for GPU and would have probably chucked even more performance into it. On the GPU side of things, overall, we're probably looking to somewhere between 35 to 40% more power in the GPU core, but with the CPU, probably more like 10% to 15%. So that is going to be absolutely incredible to see in that M2 chipset. But moving on to the M2 Pro, what we've been told there, things are going to be different with the CPU core count this time. So right now with the M1 Pro, we have 10 cores, and those 10 cores are made up of 8 performance cores and also 2 efficiency cores. And this is the standard M1 Pro, not the binned one, what you can get on the cheapest 14-inch MacBook Pro. I'm talking about the standard M1 Pro. But it's likely that the M2 Pro, what's going to happen to that is we're actually going to get 12 cores inside it, and actually we've been told this time round we're going to still get 2 efficiency cores, but we're probably actually going to get 10 performance cores. What's absolutely incredible. Again, with Apple doing their jiggery pokery over the year from one generation to another, that performance is also going to really increase, and we can probably going to be most likely going to be seeing increases between 20 and 30% in performance with those extra cores and also the work that Apple have been doing inside it. But for GPU, it gets even better. So right now, depending on which version of the M1 Pro you pick, you either get 14 cores or 16 cores. So the 14 core is the bin version, but it looks like with the M2 Pro, the bin version will now be 16 cores, but the actual main M1 Pro GPU will actually have 18 cores inside it. So that's an additional 2 more cores. And this makes sense because at the end of the day, the M2 has also got 2 additional GPU cores as well, and Apple will be building up its profile even more. Again, the performance with this is going to be incredible, and it's most likely we're going to see again around about a 20 to 30% more power in GPU performance, and we're really excited to see that. Now there's one more Mac what's missing from the list that hasn't come out in the last sort of 6 to 9 months, but you're probably wondering about, and that is to do with that 24-inch iMac. What's going to happen with that? Well, it's possible that that Mac could get an M2 chipset put inside it, or even the possibility of an M2 Pro put inside it as well, but it's most likely we probably won't see that at the end of this year. It's possible that we could, but most likely we'll probably see that iMac upgraded in around March or April time in 2023. But of course, if I do get any more news to say it's coming any more sooner than that, I will let you guys know. And the best way to make sure you keep yourself informed is to subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell. Well guys, that's it for this video, so it's time to wrap it up. If you've enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. Until next time guys, I will see you really soon. Bye bye.